complex numbers, we are looking today at hopefully what you think is super easy, because essentially we treat I like a variable. So if you recall from the other day, there are 4 powers of I. I itself represents the square root of -1. I squared is -1. I cubed is -I. And I to the 4th is +1. So we have our 4 powers of I. Variables and exponents with i's act just like i's and variables do in the real world. So in number 1, where it says to simplify, we're going to start by getting rid of the parentheses, so distributing the negative. So that becomes 3 plus 6i minus 4 plus 8i, because you're going to distribute the negative in. And then from there, you're going to combine like terms. I is like I, numbers are like numbers. So 3 and -4 is -1. 6 plus 8 gives 14i. So this problem in simplified form is -1 plus 14i. Pull the hood down, please. Number 2, 8 plus 3i minus 2 plus 4i. So again, distribute your negative. Combine like terms. Eight minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 4 is -1i. Number 3, 7 minus 3 plus 2i. So distribute the negative. And then combine like terms. So there are no i's, so we're just going to combine the 7 and the 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4 minus 2i. If I ask you to take out the GCF, what's the GCF of 4 and 2i? 2. So if you factored it out, you'd take out a 2, and that would leave you with 2 minus i. Only because I don't want you to forget how to factor, because we are going back. Not right now, but coming up. Okay, 4 minus 6i plus 3i. So I have 4 minus 6i plus 3i. So you combine the -6 and the +3. And I get 4 minus 3i. Lindsay. Okay, number 5. This is why I had us review our powers of I, because in number 5, 3i times 8i, well, that's the same as 3 times 8. and I times I. So what's 3 times 8? 24. And I times I? So if you I squared, but I squared is, okay, so that's 24 times negative 1. So negative 24. You don't have to show this line here. I just wanted you to see how we multiply the number times the number and the I times the I. So 12 times 7 is 84. I times I is I squared, but I squared is, so we get negative 84. Okay, number 7, negative I times 7I. Well, that's like negative 1 times 7. So you get negative 7. I times I is I squared. But then the 4I also needs multiplied. So negative 7 times positive 4 is negative 28. And I squared times I becomes I cubed. But I cubed, so we're going to replace I cubed with negative I. And a negative times a negative is a, so this isn't hard. You just have to take your time.
When's our next test?
Probably next week. So because today is day 2, tomorrow's day 3, and then the review is Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll probably assess on Wednesday. I mean, not on Wednesday unless I make it remote, and I don't know if I like that. We'll see. I like paper and pencil so I can see your work and give you partial credit. So probably next Thursday, about a week, Maya. 3 times 3 is? Good. Negative 9I squared. 4 minus 4I. So now you have to distribute. Negative 9 times positive 4 is negative 36I squared. Negative 9 times negative 4 is positive 36. I squared times I is I cubed. So I squared becomes negative 1. I cubed becomes negative I. So a negative times a negative is a positive, and a negative 36I. Actually, it'll probably be Tuesday. I think today's the last day notes. I have to look at your packet. You could, yes. So if it asked you to like factor or you wanted to simplify, you could take out a 36. But you don't have to because there's no benefit since there's no equal signs or solving. But yes, you could factor out or take a GCF of 36. All right, number 9. This problem is really like 2I times 3i times 3i. Because it's 3i squared, so it really just means you have 3i twice. So you can multiply as a square, or you can multiply and multiply. Either way, you get 9i squared, not 3i squared. So I write it out like this, just so you can see that the 3 and the i's all squared. 2 times 9 is 18i cubed. But we know I cubed is negative I. So that becomes negative 18i. Number 10, same idea. That's really like 5i times negative 2i times negative 2i. So a negative times a negative is a positive. You could also have multiplied these two together first. It doesn't matter. Either way, when you do your next line, you're going to get 20i cubed which is negative 20i. And then the last is FOIL. So you have to FOIL if you have a binomial times a binomial. So that's first, outer, inner, last. You're going to group together the i's, and you're going to change I squared to negative 1. And then when you change I squared to negative 1, you now have like terms with the numbers. So negative 28 plus 6 gives negative 22 minus 26i. Okay, and 12, 6 times 4, 6 times negative 3, negative 5 times 4, and a negative 5 times a negative 3 is a positive 15i squared. Group your i's, change your I squared. Group your numbers. And there is your complex number. Remember, a complex number is a number that is made up of a real and imaginary. The real is the A. The imaginary is the BI. That pretty much summarizes 5-4. It's the radicals and the complex and the i's. So you can use the remainder of time to work on this simplifying homework day 2. You're going through 1 to 18. So 10 on the front and then 8 on the back. So you're doing day 2, 1 to 18. So first 4 you add, next 3 you subtract, The next three you distribute. And then on the back, you're doing a mixture of each. You're distributing, combining like terms. Foil, foil, distribute, combine, foil, foil, foil.